So, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. I'm pregante. I'm pregananat.
Am I pregnant? Am I pregnant? Am I pargant? Am I gregnant? If a woman has starch marks on her... Wait. If a woman has starch masks on her body, does that mean she has been pargnet before?
Okay, look, if you haven't seen that video, you haven't been around long enough on the internet. It is my favorite video of all time. I just wanted to take that opportunity to say those words because there's probably no other video on this channel that I'll ever be able to reference my favorite video on the internet ever again. So yeah, we digress, but you're welcome. So here at Passionfroot, something that all of our team have in common is that we are all navigating that kind of 20s and 30s life thing. And with that decade or decades comes a lot of life changes. If you're a zillennial, I suppose, or Gen Z, millennial, kind of a, what's the word? You're somewhere in that realm. Then you are probably undergoing massive life changes, whether that's moving house or changing careers or getting into relationships or thinking of having kids or having kids. There is a lot to navigate and a lot of identity change that kind of comes with those transitions, right? And this is something we're very intentional about talking about in a real way, not giving advice necessarily because we're all in this together. But it is something that we want to talk about and just relate over because I think sharing is caring and wearing something daring, but most of all, just normalizing the absolute chaos that is your 20s and 30s, right? So I guess this video is partially a pregnancy announcement. It's also partially a reflection on big life curveballs and what we do with those. And it's also a video for anyone out there who's thinking of getting pregnant or wondering about that next phase of life. I'm gonna be real and honest and roll with you guys. So I guess I'm sort of the first of the team to transition into that next phase of parenthood. I'm not there yet, obviously, but I am getting there. So in this video, I'm going to touch on a few topics. The reality of pregnancy, what it's actually been like so far. Would I recommend it? Number 2, did I plan this? Number 3, what I'm looking forward to and what I'm also dreading about the next 12 months of my life. Number 4, a spanner in the works in terms of this particular pregnancy. Let's just say it's more than I bargained for. What this means for my business, my identity as like a creative and an entrepreneur, and how I'm navigating kind of like this new slowing down phase with like my need to achieve and how that's messing with my brain a little bit. And finally, what this kind of means for me and the future of Passionfroot. Will I still be a part of it? Will I have to quit? What's gonna happen? So strap in, guys. I'm assuming most of you are probably gonna be women watching this. Could be wrong, but ladies, if pregnancy is something that you're wondering about, questioning, toying with the idea of, then this is the video for you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, let's go. Let's dive in. We're 20 weeks as of a couple of days ago, so we're halfway through this pregnancy, and that is wild. Gone by so quickly for me. I have to admit, pregnancy so far has been fairly uneventful, which is great, which is a blessing. Boring is good when it comes to pregnancy. Found out I was pregnant in February. I was 16 weeks when we finally told everyone, and I was like probably 18 weeks before I really started showing much, so that was a blessing. I was able to just like process it a little bit more. I know a lot of women really struggle in the first trimester. I don't want to like underplay or downplay your experience with that because I know it is hellish. So I'm not saying that the first trimester is easy. All I'm saying is if you're putting off pregnancy because you're really afraid of the first trimester, it might not be as bad as you thought it would be. Because for me, I felt nauseous, yes, but I think I threw up twice in like the 3-month period. I could still work pretty normal hours. I didn't like miss out on any social activities. I could still do life 95% exactly the same as I normally would. That was a big blessing, and yeah, just to encourage you, that also might be your experience, so don't be too scared of the first trimester. Gotta say though, because it was so smooth sailing, relatively speaking, I kind of just forgot that I was pregnant a lot of the time. Is that terrible? Let's just say I want kids, but I've never been a particularly maternal person. Like, I'm not one of those women who's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have kids one day. Conversations that I've had with friends in the past, even up until like 6 months ago were kind of like, yeah, look, I want to have kids in the next while, but like I'm in no rush. It'll happen when it happens. I was busy building my business. I was busy like living my life, traveling, being an independent woman. And then suddenly now I'm pregnant. And that has been a massive mental roller coaster mostly, and an emotional one as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful, I'm so blessed. But I'm also grieving a lot, and that is an interesting space to be in. My husband and I, we did plan this. So my sister got pregnant middle of last year, about a year ago. And that was super exciting for our family, but it was also like a massive reality check for me. I'm 29, just turned 29, and I was like, oh, I guess it is about that time of life, ballpark, where you start thinking about having kids. Yeah, that was kind of the little kickoff I needed, the catalyst, I suppose, I needed, or my husband and I needed to be like, actually, you know what, now is a good time. We want the cousins to be close in age. We are very supported by our family where we live. We've got family around us. We're not financially strapped or anything like that, so it is a possibility for us to have kids. I think something really important to remember is that there is absolutely no such thing as the perfect time for anything in life. You're never going to be ready for anything, but especially for kids. Because kids are possibly the most transformative chapter that you're going to walk into in your life. If you're thinking about having kids and you're wondering, like, is it the right time? Think about things beyond your job satisfaction. For a long time, when I was thinking about kids, the only thing on my mind was like, oh, but I'm growing and like I'm reaching this financial goal. You know, what about my professional reputation? And I'd have to give all of that up, and I'm not ready to do that yet. And that's super valid. Don't get me wrong. That is super, super valid in terms of deciding when to have kids. It is possibly the biggest factor to consider, I suppose, in like a very tangible everyday sense. But there are also other factors to consider. Do your siblings or your close friends have kids? If they do, you're going to have that support. Your kids are going to have friends, you know, you're going to have cousins, family gatherings. It'll be a beautiful time. Your parents, are they around? Do you have support around you in terms of family? If not, then that's something to consider. Will you have to move house or move city or country or whatever before that to like be closer to family before you have kids? Obviously your biological age, that goes without saying. At 29, I'm not worried about that. But if you're like 39, it's probably something to start thinking about. Your relationship stability, being on the same page with your partner is massive. Obviously. And finally, and I remember that this was a quote from, I'll link it here. They were saying that having kids is like a trick of the universe. Okay, hi, hello. This is VoiceOver Mel, and I have just found the interview. This one was from Dr. Shafali Sabari. The way the parenting paradigm has been set up, the possession, the ownership, it's inherent. That's why I love this relationship, because it's such a trick from the universe. You know, the universe gives you children, it says they're yours, so it seduces you to thinking it's mine. But yet the child comes out and says, I'm not you. Parenting, we've been told, is about raising the child. And parents say to me, well, what could be wrong with that? I say that you cannot even dare to have the audacity to think about raising another being until you have raised your own self to the highest level of evolution. Our children, young ones under the age of 5, they're not attached to how do I look? Am I complete? Do I need to become someone? They don't think I need to become a lawyer or a scientist, go to any Ivy League school to give themselves a stamp of approval. We put this onto them. There's a big degree, a high amount of narcissism, ego, desire to fill your own self to have children. Parenting is not selfless. There are elements of selflessness in it. But the driving force to have a child comes from your own desire to complete something within you. And that's why children revolt. So the myth is that parenting is about the child, when parenting is really about you. If you don't raise yourself first and parent yourself, then you will aspire to make your child a mini version of yourself. So you're actually not even raising the child, and you're just raising yourself. So let's call it what it is. Rein that ego in, parent yourself, and then you will be attuned to your child. Then you will make space for the spirit of your child to unfold. And I remember learning that a couple of years ago and being like, I don't think I'm in an emotionally steady place. I don't think my ego is like solid enough to be able to let go of my own interests completely, at least for a time, and put it into this other being, and then have that other being like betray me one day. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's just something else I considered in terms of being ready for kids. Take it with a grain of salt, take it or leave it, but I just wanted to touch on quickly the things that I'm looking forward to and the things that I'm really not looking forward to, and be honest about that. There's this part of me where I actually feel guilty for not being more excited and not being more delighted that I am pregnant. Again, This is something that I want. It is something that we planned. I'm very excited cognitively to be a mum because I know that what is happening right now is a miracle. I know it's a blessing from God. I know that not every woman gets this blessing. But yeah, emotionally, I'm not quite there yet. There is also a massive element of, grief, processing. And that is because there's a lot of positives that come with pregnancy, and there's also a lot of negatives that come with pregnancy and having kids. I do genuinely believe that the positives far outweigh the negatives, not only in the short term, but also in the scheme of your life, but it's still a lot. And I think it's very easy to focus on the negatives. Our society loves to do that. Our culture is like big on that. What I am looking forward to, I'm looking forward to meeting my little humans. Yes, plural. I will touch on that in a second. And seeing their little personalities emerge. I want to know, like, are they going to be like me? Are they going to be like Josh? Are they going to be their own people? Oh my goodness. So curious. What are they going to look like? Oh, so fun. So fun. I'm also really looking forward to like building a family culture. Like, yes, I have a family now. Josh and I are a family. We have Chevy. I've got my parents, his parents, my sisters. We're all a family. But this is different. This is like, I made this family. Like, that's so cool. What emotional intelligence can I bring to different situations? What traditions can we set in place? I'm really looking forward to establishing all of that and like growing in that area. I'm also really looking forward to a forced slowdown. And I think I'm gonna do a whole video on this at some point. Literally for the last, I think 3 years, give or take, I've just been non-stop in my job, in my business. And that's been a blessing and it's been incredible, the opportunities that I've had, but I am so ready to not do that for a while. I am so ready to actually practice what I preach and really slow down. Like, if that means that a productive day is having a shower, then so be it. And I think with that is going to come, I hope, a renewed and clarified perspective on what actually matters. I've always struggled with saying yes to too many things, being a bit of a pushover and not standing up for myself. I'm really looking forward to, I think, the newfound confidence and purpose that I'm gonna have in like, okay, I'm not just living for me now, but like now it actually matters what I say yes and no to a lot more, because that actively not only affects me and Josh, but it also affects my babies. What I'm dreading about having kids? Well, I'm dreading the loss of autonomy. You know what? I think it's actually time, before I go into what I'm dreading, I need to drop the bombshell on you guys. Drum roll, please. I'm expecting twins! I went to my 8-week scan. It was April 1st, April Fool's Day. The lady there is like, oh, it's twins, congratulations. I'm like, that's hilarious. There is no record of twins in my family or Josh's family, so that can't possibly be true. And then she turns the monitor around and there's 2. But obviously when you have twins, there are a lot of things that are going to be harder than if you just had a single baby. Assuming that you're comparing like healthy baby for healthy baby. The one thing that I'm really not looking forward to is the loss of autonomy. I'm a really independent person. My husband will testify to this. I'm like independent to a fault. With one baby, you can go and have a hair appointment and you can breastfeed. With 2 babies, there's no way you can sit in a chair for that long. Like, you can't hold both in a chair at the hairdressers. Going to a cafe will be way harder. I don't know. I'm like trying to logistically go through all of the possibilities in my head about what having twins is going to be like. And the sun just went away. That's great. The next thing I'm not looking forward to is the physical recovery. Regardless of what kind of birth story I have, if it is a natural birth, pushing out 2 is going to be way harder than pushing out 1. And I also like have to grieve a little bit because like I'm a pretty crunchy girl. The idea of having like a natural birth was obviously always at the top of my list, but with 2, you kind of have to let go of that dream a little bit and just be realistic about all the things that could go wrong. So that's been tricky to process, and it also means that I can't really go in with a plan. And yeah, that's a little bit hard. So anyway, the physical recovery and the birth plan, bit tricky. I'm also dreading my business just totally collapsing. I do outsource some work in my business, but I don't hire anyone. It's not like an independent business like separate from me, like it is me. And I've always kept it that way. I much prefer it that way. I enjoy being on the tools, basically. What I've built, I'm really proud of, and all the client relationships that I've established. But having to let them all know that like in a couple of months' time, I'm gonna have to step away has been really hard. because obviously they're not going to wait for me. They need the work done by someone else. And knowing that someone else is going to have that opportunity, it just like makes me sad, you know. I'm happy for those people, obviously, but it makes me sad. So I don't know what the future's going to look like. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to step away from my business properly. And I also don't know if and when I come back to it, if there'll even be work for me to do. AI is like freaking me out. And as someone in the creative space who does a lot of graphic design, a lot of writing, and a lot of illustration, you can understand why. So yeah, that fills me with anxiety and is something I'm dreading, I guess. But at the same time, I guess, like, it would have happened anyway, so maybe it's the perfect time to be stepping away and having kids. I don't know, still processing. And then the final thing, it's like, how am I going to do this without losing my identity? And how am I going to do the mum thing without compromising on my creative passions? I will have to compromise, I'm sure. But how can I still feed into that side of me? Because I do think it's really important for parents to maintain their passions and like have interests outside of their kids. I think it's healthy not only for the parents, but also for the kids to witness that and see that like, wow, my mum is like this awesome entrepreneur. My dad is this awesome, like, you know, engineer and business owner and whatever. So yeah. So something that you might be curious about is how me having babies is going to affect me and Passionfroot. Yeah, this whole question makes me really sad because I will have to step away for a while. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to be the social media manager and create videos every month for you guys. But I'm really hopeful that give it, you know, 3 to 6 months, I will be able to fully integrate back into the channel. I love Passionfroot. This is like my favorite project that I get to work on. So obviously if I can not give it up, I will not give it up. My commitment to you, as far as I'm physically able, is to come back probably at the start of 2026, I would say. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what the future holds, and I don't know, what kind of curveballs might come our way. But if both babies are healthy, and if the twin thing, we get into a bit of a rhythm with it, then I will absolutely be back. Obviously, when I do come back, my content will be probably slightly different. If you've watched a few of my videos on this channel, a big part of my identity and a big part of what I offer this channel is navigating this balance between kind of rest and creativity and soft living and building a business and entrepreneurship and productivity. And that is a constant thing that I've faced in my life. But now, obviously, that's going to look different because I'm not going to be building a business for a while. And I'm also going to have to redefine what rest looks like. So that is a really interesting space to be in. If you have any ideas or any topics that you'd like me to cover in my upcoming content in 6 to 8 to 12 months time, please let me know in the comments below. I would be really grateful to hear your thoughts on that. Anyway, I've rambled for long enough. I hope that's answered some of your questions. Wish me luck, guys. I've got 4 months to go before little bubs come. It's so crazy. It's so weird to say that. I hope this video has like normalized the uncertainty of moving into parenthood. If you're thinking about having kids, or if you've got specific reservations about it, please comment below. Let's just have some real talk. I guess at the end of the day, like, I don't know what kind of mum I'm gonna be. I hope a good one. But I know what kind of a person I want to remain. And motherhood is a part of that person. I'm just very conscious about trying to navigate that wisely. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video has been helpful, or at least like an honest, refreshing, honest take on parenthood for you. And until next time, let's keep growing together. Some of us more literally than others. Okay, bye guys. Take care.